history, and I chose to study history at A-level because I've always had a passion for the subject, and I've always found the story behind it so interesting, and I feel like, well, I'm for the Angevin course, so I've always loved medieval history, and also with the Spanish side I've also been really involved in more Tudor history as well.
Hi, I'm Georgia and I study history. I chose to do it at A-level because it's always been my favourite subject, and I've always found it really interesting to see how stories have changed the course of history and how history has developed to create our modern day today.
So on one side of the course, which is the Angevins, we've been studying Henry II, and in particular three main events, probably his establishment of royal authority and the Thomas Becket crisis, which is really interesting to me in particular, and the final years of his reign, as well as the Great Rebellion.
So I have two sides to my courses. So I have the British Empire, so we study that from 1857 to the middle of the 20th century, and that covers pretty much a lot of world history, but is obviously focused on the British Empire. And then I also study what we call the birth of America. So America as a colony, and then how it achieved independence, and then the beginning of the American political system as well.
Well, for me, the main thing is the sort of unpredictability in the story. I find that I'm always so invested in the characters, because for the Angevin course we go into such depth about the individuals that you find that you're constantly surprised, and it's sort of like a mix between, I don't know, Game of Thrones and like a soap opera all in one. There's so much stuff that you wouldn't expect would happen, but it does happen, and it's really interesting in that way.
So last October we went to America, so we got to basically visit all the places that were really key to the American War of Independence. So we started off in Boston, then we went to New York, Philadelphia, and then ended up in Washington DC. So it was a really, really fun trip. So we got to go to the Congress building, and we got to throw fake tea off ships, and visit West Point, which is the army base for America, and it was just really fun to sort of throw yourself into the history.
Everyone who takes history has to lead a session in History Girls, which I think is open from year 11 to year 13, and it's sort of maybe like a 20-minute talk, no pressure, but it's really good to investigate something that might not necessarily be in the curriculum that you're interested in.
So I am planning on studying history at university. Definitely the course that I do, the modern course, has definitely swayed me in what it is I want to specialise in. So I know that I definitely want to study American history further, and focus on British political history as well. From any time period really, but the British Empire course has got me really interested in British political history.
Well, I'm not necessarily going to study history, but I'm thinking of studying architecture, which I've looked at a lot of courses, and it does relate quite a lot. There are a lot of overlapping features, particularly in the history of architecture, and how that has sort of social and political elements to it as well.